Recently, my book Finding Nikki got published, and I absolutely enjoyed creating a new world, characters, and story. But hey, there were times when I was confused about the writing process. And during this initial phase of writing, I read about what other writers had to say about their writing process. Eventually, all writers find their own rhythm, but why not get tips from people who have been there and done that? And getting to know the process by other writers helped me tremendously at times when I felt completely stuck. So, today I'm going to talk about the writing process that I followed. I really hope that this video helps and inspires the new writers. They say there are two types of writers, plotters and pansters. Plotters plan their plot, story, characters before they start writing, and pansters plan very little and just jump into writing. So, am I a panster or a plotter? Okay, so I had just the basic plot idea. I wanted to write a story about a girl who is bullied and has lost her self esteem. I wanted to show her growing up story. Even though the topic is serious, I wanted to keep the treatment light and humorous. And that's all I had. This basic plot idea and how the treatment was going to be. When I started writing, I found myself struggling with the flow. And I kept deleting and rewriting from scratch. And I felt frustrated. In a couple of months, I realized that this isn't the right approach. I needed to plan the characters, their traits, stories, and subplots. I'm not saying I planned everything to the T, but I made a rough sketch of the happenings. For example, how is Nikki going to fight her bullies? What will trigger her to do so? What is her family background? People who are influencing her, so on and so forth. Then I wrote 2 lines of what was going to happen in every chapter, and I slowly kept adding more lines to these skeleton chapters. As I wrote more things became clear and many elements were added later on. For example, I had started writing in third person, but as I kept adding details, I felt writing in first person will be more effective. So Nikki is telling her own story like a diary and is having a dialogue with the readers directly. I also had shown Nikki to be lazy, unorganized, undisciplined, but later on decided to also show her to be gossipy and added supporting scenes and dialogues to show that trait. And interestingly, that also added some twists to the story. And also, as I spent more time writing about the topic bullying, I realized that bullying can happen at any stage and age of life, even at the hands of people who roam around with the air of being spiritual and religious. And that is how the spiritual guru was introduced in the book. And that made Nikki's family dynamics very interesting. I also later on added how the kids were bullied into following beliefs and faiths at the hands of their very own family. And that is how Parth's character was developed, and his rebellion against it kept things interesting and relatable. He remains my favorite character in the book. So personally, I'm neither a plotter nor a panster. I'm the third type, planster, meaning I like to have a rough sketch of the plot, subplots, and characters. But I'm also flexible and I listen to what the characters are saying and where they are wanting to go. Because believe it or not, as we write more and more, the characters start to have a mind of their own. Some other things that help with writing. Number 1, read a lot. I would be very surprised if someone told me that they are a writer but never read a book. It's like saying you're a chef but don't eat food cooked by anyone else. Well, you should try various cuisines cooked by a variety of people. It might introduce you to other flavors and spices and give you some creative ideas. And similarly, reading is the creative center of a writer's life. Reading other books work as a guide for us to see what styles we like, how to build up scenes, dialogues, pacing, and climax. And they can also teach us how not to write. And hey, you want to be a writer, then you got to also support other writers by reading their work. Number 2, write a lot, have discipline. I haven't started writing another book as of now, and yet I write for 30 minutes every single day. I write about random things. For example, this post, observations, feelings, fights, people I met, conversations I had. So, the characters I have used in Finding Nikki were written long ago before I even started working on the book, just in these 30-minute writing sessions. I also have written about many more interesting characters that I have come across, but I couldn't add them to this book. Maybe I will sometime in the future. For how long should you write when you are working on the book? I sure cannot sit for the whole day and write. And see, I always wanted to write a book, but I wouldn't have written it when, say, I was a teenager, because I needed to live a life, experience things to write, and also one needs to be practical and earn a living. And so I don't sit and write for the whole day. Live, experience, observe, exercise, sleep, don't compromise on health, follow other hobbies, earn a living, go on long walks, meet people, socialize, have conversations. For I feel a lot of writing happens in the head when one isn't actually sitting and writing with pen and paper. I want to recommend a book that helped, inspired, and motivated me with my writing process. It is called On Writing by Stephen King. This book hit me hard, and if you are a writer, then please do read this book. I am confident that you will love it and it will nudge you to get into action. If you are a writer and have some techniques that have worked for you, then do share your writing process in the comment section. I would love to read that. And feel free to like, subscribe, and share. It always helps digital creators like myself. Thank you.